5.
Hello, everybody.
It's 5 o'clock.
It is.
Live at 5.
January
Hi,
4th, Wednesday, hump day.
How is everybody? Is everyone settled in to the new year? You're not saying anything. We have a new screen over here.
It's very fancy.
Who's here today? Brandon Dirden's here today from JITNEY.
Yes.
I'm so excited to see JITNEY.
Me
I haven't
too.
seen it yet.
I have not either.
And this is like, we're going to talk about this, but I'm like a little obsessed with August Wilson.
Well,
you didn't see Live at 5 yesterday, but Beth and I were talking, and Beth is like more obsessed with August Wilson than me, but yeah, so super excited for this show because it's like the best plays ever. Anyway, but news. Is there news?
Let's get to some news. We have some interesting stuff. So, as you all know, former Spice Girl Mel B is going into Chicago, and we got a first look at her as Roxy Hart today. She looks fantastic. Also, her last performance is February 19th, but Bianca...
She's like leaving.
Bianca Marroquin is going to go in there from January...
Bianca Marroquin.
Marroquin is going in there January 5th through the 10th. As
this was a pre-scheduled absence, everybody.
No
Calm
emergency.
Down.
She's just going to go
I think she has something to do in L.A.
Yeah, and then... But Bianca is amazing, so...
Oh my God!
Check her out.
She actually didn't. She won the Broadway.com. We asked everybody who their favorite Roxy Hart ever, and she won.
She's fantastic.
You're in good hands.
It's a treat. Also, Amber Riley diagnosed with pneumonia.
I know. So she's Effie White.
Yes, in the West End.
The West End Dreamgirls, which we assume is coming to Broadway. We're just counting down the days. But this is really interesting.
Yeah, so she was diagnosed with pneumonia, so she's taking a leave, and this girl, Marish Wallace.
No, it's Marsha Wallace.
Marsha Wallace.
Yeah, you have it wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's amazing. But you know her because in Something Rotten...
Oh,
do you remember the moment in... Now, Casey Nicholaw, of course, directed The New Dreamgirls and choreographed, and he also did Something Rotten and 18 other Broadway smashes. Do you remember the moment where Marsha Wallace said... She sings, and I'm telling you I'm not going, in Something Rotten.
Right.
She is now singing, and I'm telling you I'm not going, in the West End.
For real.
She's alternating.
Yes, her and the alternate will be playing the role off and on until Amber recovers and she can come back in.
She's incredible. So, again, you're in good
hands. Once again, still a treat. James Earl Jones, we all love James Earl Jones. He's doing Tennessee Williams' The Night of the Iguana at the American Repertory Theater in Boston.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This could be the next Broadway gig.
Yeah.
I mean, James Earl Jones, I feel like he has a good relationship with Broadway. He keeps coming back.
It's always great to have Tennessee Williams work on the boards.
So that's interesting.
Nominations for the 2017 Writers Guild Awards came out. And
WGA.
The WGA. And there's playwright Kenneth Lonergan got a nom from Manchester by the Sea.
Have you seen that yet?
I did. It's so funny, but also heartbreaking. Crushing.
Yep.
Crushing. August Wilson, speaking of, for his screen adaptation of his play Fences.
Yeah,
Denzel and Viola. I've not seen that yet. And then Damien Chazelle for his movie musical La La Land. He also got an... I did.
Oh, okay.
I loved it. I was so charmed by it. I feel like we have such depressing news, and HBO is pushing up the release of its documentary about Carrie Fisher and her mom, Debbie Reynolds,
Bright Lights.
in light of their recent
Did you watch the trailer? I watched the trailer first thing this morning,
and I've already
released it.
Yeah, it's
really it's gonna be hard to watch.
So hard
because and a lot of it is about Carrie talking about her mother deteriorating. That's a lot of what they're discussing.
Right.
Her being worried about her being alone. And I feel like HBO. I feel like a lot of people are going to be cuddling up with like a loved one and Bright Lights. That's HBO. I think Saturday.
January 7th is when it'll air.
Okay.
So
cool.
Check that out. The Helen Hayes Theater, which closed after the Humans moved to the Schoenfeld, they're aiming to be open and putting productions up in spring of 2018.
For second stage, right?
Yes, for second stage, which now owns the theater. And David Rockwell, Tony-winning designer, he is overseeing the renovations.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, this has been in the news forever. I feel like for years they've been saying that second stage was going to move to Helen, but the shows they kept having hits, so they finally, Rock of Ages wouldn't leave,
and it's Broadway's smallest theater.
Christine wants to know why was there an HBO pushback? It's actually they moved it up.
They moved it up.
They moved the movie
It was
up.
going to air later, and so now, in light of all of this, we get it sooner. Cruel Intentions, the musical, which was a big hit in LA, is having its New York premiere at La Poisson Rouge.
Yeah, it's like they're calling it a pop-up
Yes,
production.
it features like hits from the 90s, but also songs that are in the movie as well.
Okay.
Like classic songs.
And if you want to see the classic version, Les Liaisons Dangereuses,
you only have a little bit of time
is
left.
ending on Sunday.
Yes.
So it's the same story.
See that first, and then go see Cruel Intentions, the musical.
Sure.
You know, compare and contrast, right? Some interesting videos on the site right now. You can watch a roll call with Jefferson Mays, who's
amazing,
unbelievable. He destroyed me.
Jefferson Mays has stories about everything.
He's
like
wonderful.
he'll just launch into.
I could just watch him all day.
And he's always interesting, and he's always classy, and
yes, he's the best, and he has his hat on, of course. And then a new episode of Broadway Balances America. There's a new production of The Little Mermaid that is going around the country, and
because people love The Little Mermaid,
of course, absolutely.
Now wait, aren't they making a Little Mermaid musical movie next?
They are.
Like, right, Beauty and the Beast is first,
and there's been a few people rumored to be in it, but who knows? You know, I think people have to see.
Rumors?
I think people have to see how Beauty and the Beast does first before they think
it's going to do really well.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Anyway, thank you so much, Ryan.
I'll get out of here. Thank you.
Good to see you, everybody. Please welcome Brandon Dirden of Jitney. Hey, man, how are you?
Very well, Paul.
I like your sweater. I like the alligator.
Yeah.
Brought the alligator out.
Oh, yeah, we can thank my wife for that. She has the real taste in the family.
Crystal.
I
know her.
Yes,
she's talented. God, you got so much talent. Your brother's a talented actor too, right?
Jason is extraordinary.
Look at you with all the talent in that family. What they feed you guys?
Yeah, you know, a lot. Plenty. We're very healthy people.
So you are back on Broadway.
Yeah.
Many people probably saw you in All the Way.
I hope so.
Yeah, MLK.
I liked it. That was a good show.
That was that was a big sensation. Jitney, and you now August Wilson. I know you have a great relationship with August Wilson.
Yes.
Tell me first. What was the first time you ever saw an August Wilson play?
Well, I can tell you, I actually was in an August Wilson play before I saw an August Wilson play.
Okay, cool.
I started, and that's not the question you asked, but I'm going to give you the chronology of
it.
Yeah,
what is it?
Joe Turner's Come and Gone back in 1990. I was a young boy. I played the youngest male that August ever wrote, Reuben, who was the next door neighbor of the main family in the play, and a guy named Claude Purdy, who was one of August's best friends and actually encouraged August to start writing plays. He directed that production at the Alley Theater in my hometown of Houston, Texas.
Oh, wow.
And so that was my start. And
so that's the youngest August Wilson character?
That's right.
And I bet the oldest was Gem of the Ocean, right?
Yeah, probably Solid Two Kings. Or
well, I'm just thinking of like,
period, yeah.
I mean, there's so many, August Wilson wrote so much good stuff. I mean, like, there's so much to like chew on.
There is enough for the rest of my life. I can, no matter how old I am, I can always look forward to being in an August Wilson production somewhere.
Right.
And I will. I mean, I will do it in the church basement in, Podunk, Alabama, anywhere, because it's just that great.
And Jitney is special, not only because I haven't seen it yet. It's the only August Wilson play I haven't seen yet. Because
we just started, so I don't blame you. Yeah,
I missed it at second stage. They did it off Broadway. It's the first. This is the Broadway premiere, correct?
That is correct.
Jitney. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because this was actually the first play in the 10-play cycle that he wrote. This is the first one he wrote. He wrote it, started, I believe, in 77 or 78, and it started as a one-act play. And this is before he even had the idea of writing 10-play cycle. And he came back to it in 95, 96. He started retooling it.
Right.
And he expanded into a full 2-act play. And it started making the rounds around the country before it landed into New York off Broadway, but never made the Broadway premiere. So it's been Ruben Santiago Hudson, our director. It's been his mission for the last 11 years to get Jitney to Broadway.
And for people who don't know, basically there's a play for every decade.
That's right.
Right. This is the 70s?
This is the 70s.
Right.
Play takes place in 1977.
What's your fashion like?
Oh, it's funky,
good?
Man. It's funky. Well, my character, I play Booster, who's been in the penitentiary for the last 20 years. So I come out in the not so flattering prison issues. But there's some other funky fashions in it. Not too loud to where you can't hear the play, but it's enough flavor there for you.
And what is a jitney?
A jitney is basically an unlicensed cab driver. So you go uptown here in New York and somebody pulls up to you and says, "Hey, I didn't flag you down." But anyways, so in the African American community in Pittsburgh at the time that the reputable cab services weren't servicing the Hill District, there were these jitney stations that would, and so it was a real service to the community. And people had the phone numbers they called in, and there's a certain amount of prices for certain zones, and it's like a Uber before Uber.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So David wants to know, what's the biggest challenge of Jitney, of this production of Jitney?
Keeping up with the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
I mean, you have...
It's a real ensemble show, isn't it?
This probably is... I mean, when you come and see the play, you'll have a hard time discovering who you like more, who you hate more, who's the lead character, I mean, it is so well balanced, this play. It's probably, in terms of the line load, it might be the most equitable show of the 10 in terms of the line distribution, and he just gets it so right. And these actors who Ruben has assembled, I mean, they are all at the top of the game, and they're just ripping it up every night. So the biggest challenge is keeping up and making sure I serve it back as hard as I get it, and it really is extraordinary.
Did you click? Is it when you start rehearsals for something like this that where the chemistry of the ensembles is so important? And I do think that Ruben is really good at casting people. But did it click immediately? Did you feel it? Did you feel like, oh, this is going to be a good?
Yeah, I think that absolutely. That probably is Ruben's. I mean, it's a special skill set. They say directing is 90%, 95% casting, and he gets it. He gets it 100% every time. I mean, not because he's cast me like 6 or 7 times. Now, that's not what makes him so great, but it helps.
Yeah.
But no, but right away, the one thing that Ruben looks for when casting a show is generosity amongst the artists in the room. And you can't be a selfish player. You can't. It's never about you. It's always about the other person.
Right.
And these are 9 actors on the stage, and 8 men and 1 woman. Cara Patterson, who definitely holds her own in this room. We are all so open and giving to what the play needs and what we need to give each other, and what we need from each other, and it's a beautiful, beautiful room to be in.
You also directed, didn't you direct Seven Guitars? I love that. Seven Guitars is a great
Speaking
play.
of family, I had my younger brother Jason playing Canwell, and my wife playing Louise in that production down in Two River.
What was it like directing them?
It was like growing up. When you put on a show with your family and your brothers. I don't know how many people out there, put on shows in the living room for their parents, and that's what it was like. It felt like, all right, guys, come on, we're gonna put on a show, for the neighborhood. Let's do this, and I respect them so much. My wife and my brother, they're very smart, but their hearts are so big for what we do, and so we didn't have to take the work home. We could do it all in the room, get it done, and then go home and be a regular family. But you're just not going to find people more passionate than Crystal and Jason, specifically about the work of August Wilson as well. So it was a treat.
And you were also in the Tony-winning smash Clybourne Park with your wife.
That is correct. Yeah. Well, I served. I was an understudy. I was understudy Damon Gupton, who originated the role. But I had to. I went on several times during the course of the run, and that was so cool. I mean, to be in this play with my wife and playing husband and wife.
A really cool play too.
And I mean, that was a great ensemble too.
Yeah. That was a great show. People want to know, did you see Fences? Did you see the Fences movie? Do you have an opinion of it? Or?
You know what? I haven't quite had the time.
Yeah, you're a little
been
busy.
in tech rehearsals and now in previews, so I haven't had the schedule to line up to see Fences. But as soon as we stop rehearsing during the day in previews, I'm going to take an afternoon.
So which shows have you actually done?
Of August Wilson's plays?
Yeah.
Okay, I've done, let's see, Joe Turner's Come and Gone.
Yep.
I've done Fences twice.
Okay.
I've done 2 Trains Running. I've done Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, most recently at Two River before this. I've done, directed 7 Guitars. What else? I'm missing something.
One of the decades. Some decade.
Piano Lesson, of course. Piano Lesson.
Hello. Yeah.
Here in New York.
Yeah, Piano Lesson was like, you got awards and nominations and fancy reviews, and that was a good one, right? That was at Signature.
It was at the Signature.
Yeah.
That was the first time Piano Lesson had been seen in New York at a major theater, and since its original production. Yeah. And it was that did a lot. Yeah. For me and for the theater community in terms of its reawakening of just the beauty of August's of his body of work. And I mean, I think Ruben Santiago Hudson, who directed that one as well, I think you can certainly look at that one again as being a feather in the cap and something that is a stepping stone to why we're doing Jitney on Broadway today.
August Wilson's plays, I feel like people are always rediscovering them. Like, I remember when the Piano Lesson opened and everyone saying, this is so stunning. And I was like, it was stunning the first. Like, people, that's what's so great about it. I feel like people are always sort of surprised by how good they are.
And I think we're at a time, we're in a good point right now where we're in like I say, a reawakening, but it's I was talking to Constanza, his wife, today in rehearsals, and we were talking about the role of Boucher I played, and she said there's just so much in it, and it's so deep, and I was telling that really is it's accurate in terms of being so much in there. It's like a bottomless well, and you're gonna constantly be rediscovering something. You'll never have it all.
Absolutely.
You'll never have it all. So no matter how many productions of Piano Lesson you see, or no matter how many times you see this production of Jitney, which is I hope multiple times, you're not gonna get everything, but you will always feel full every time. It's I don't know. I was telling someone it's like an alchemy for pure gold that exists between us on stage and the audience members, and when those two things collide, it is just magical. It's something special. So I hope you see it too.
You started. You've done a lot on Broadway now. You started in like really small roles, right? Like you were at Billy Joe Kiss.
Yeah,
At Roundabout. Is that
the ensemble?
Yeah, you were. Do you have any like tips for actors about the industry, the business, and?
I do, and it's something I learned actually the first week of Prelude to a Kiss, my first Broadway show, and I just got into New York, weeks before that. And I got really lucky and got in that great ensemble. But there is no magic handshake on Broadway. For some reason, I was thinking I would come and all of a sudden there would be this wealth of knowledge just poured into you because you are on Broadway, and there just isn't. There are no shortcuts.
Right.
So, I mean, it's all about location. Broadway is just a location. So wherever you're telling a story, that's the community, that's the audience that needs to hear that story. And it is no less or no more important than when you're on a Broadway stage, and no less or more important what you're doing on a Broadway stage, or like I say in that church basement in Podunk, Alabama. It's that's the one thing I've come to learn and realize and appreciate the most, is that at the end of the day, it's just about telling a good story.
Absolutely. Do you have any dream August Wilson roles?
Yeah.
Like if you had to pick one.
One?
Yeah, if they were gonna we're gonna put this up for you on Broadway next season. What do you want to do?
I would say I'd like to do Boy Willie again in Piano Lesson.
Oh.
That's that would be a lot of fun. I just finished Levy and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I've been really lucky. I've checked off a lot of those dream roles. Sterling and Two Trains Running. But are you limiting to one?
I'm not limiting. We're dreaming here. This is fantasy time.
All right. Okay. Here's another fantasy. Maybe in about 15, 20 years, I'd love to do Seth with my wife, Crystal, playing Bertha, and Joe Turner's Come and Gone.
Oh, interesting.
I think that would be really fun.
You guys do that at home ever?
I'm not telling.
Finally, how often are you told you're a dead ringer for Billy D. Williams?
Not enough. Not enough times, but I've heard it maybe once or twice, and I don't get tired of it. I love to hear it more. So,
well, I'm glad someone today said it.
So tweet it.
Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see Jitney. It's at the Samuel J. Friedman Theater, right?
That's correct.
And it opens next week.
Do we?
Doesn't it?
Oh,
next week, week
January
after, 2
19th.
weeks.
2 weeks.
Soon. I'm seeing it next week. So for me, that's opening night. I can't wait.
We're ready to go now. You can come tonight. We're ready for you. But
they're ready.
Yeah,
they're ready.
We're so ready.
It's a beautiful play. You guys are going to love it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.